Well, really, is this just an example of government failure, total bureaucracy? Cato Institute's Dan Mitchell joins me right now with more. And Dan, wow, I got to say, it's nice that Karen Weaver, the mayor of Flint, is there meeting with Valerie Jarrett at the White House. But, my gosh, where was local government a year and a half ago when this whole thing first happened?
Exactly. I think about it, if I was a parent and all my kids are grown up, and if I was a parent with young kids in Flint, I'd be tempted to go postal because I had a local government that was so, I don't know whether it's incompetence, stupidity, corruption, or whatever it was, but this is a problem that the people in Flint never should have allowed to happen. And of course, now we have all these silly politicians pointing fingers at each other. Look, let's be honest. This isn't the fault of Governor Rick Snyder. Yeah, sure, his environmental bureaucrats knew about it, and so maybe there's some blame. And nor is this the fault of President Obama, even though his environmental bureaucrats knew about it also. So both of those groups should have told the people of Flint so they could at least try to protect themselves. But ultimately, this comes down to the fact that the people of Flint, or the politicians of Flint, thought that somehow some other level of government was going to take care of it, and this is a local government responsibility.
People are saying that this got ignored, Dan, because of race. And I want to ask you, do you think it's really race, or do you think that Flint's crisis, really came down to what we're talking about here, which is that, the people running the town are just completely incompetent government bureaucrats that aren't listening to the people there?
I don't think this has anything to do with race. Now, maybe some email will come out in 3 years where there was a bad person somewhere in the food chain, either in Washington or in Lansing. But I think this is if we're going to take a lesson from this, the lesson is that big city, and Flint actually isn't that big, but city machines, local politicians and local governments, because they've in effect become fiefdoms for public employee unions, where citizens, where taxpayers, where school children all get sort of left behind as you have sort of this self-serving elite feeding upon itself. I think that's the lesson we need to learn here. If local governments actually focused on core responsibilities of safe streets, good schools, clean water, sewage systems, whatever, I think you'd have much better run
and maybe
cities.
They need to listen to their constituents. And just so the viewer fully understands here, we're going back a year and a half ago when they made this choice to use the Flint water from the Flint River, which was known to be dirty to begin with. And residents came forward and they said, this stuff smells, this stuff doesn't taste right. And they were ignored. And it wasn't until basically a year and a half later that this is actually getting anyone's attention. So to your point, the government needs to represent the people, Dan.
And the best way to have government represent the people is to have responsibility and accountability at the local level. It's not the state's job to solve this, and it's not Washington's job.
We got to expect more from everyone. Thank you so much, Dan Mitchell.